2026 hybrid buying, hybrid reliability, total cost of ownership, used hybrid prices, Toyota Hybrid eCVT. The only two hybrids I would buy with my own money in 2026 aren't the ones with the biggest screens, and they're not even the ones that win the MPG headline by 2 points. They're the two that I trust to still be boring at 200,000 miles even after real life happens. Let's break this down. Picture this. It's a random Tuesday night, you're half scrolling, half panic shopping, because your current car is fine, except it's starting to do that thing where every month there's a new sound, a new light, or a new $700 surprise. So you tell yourself, I'm going hybrid. You open listings, and you realize immediately hybrids in 2026 are not cheap. The good ones hold value like crazy. Some used ones are priced so close to new, it feels like the entire market is trolling you. And now you're stuck on the real question. Which hybrid is actually worth paying for? If you want car truth without hype and without brand religion, subscribe, because cars aren't complicated, they're just poorly explained, and hybrids are where bad explanations get expensive. Now here's the pattern interrupt most people don't like hearing. The best hybrid is not the one with the best MPG on paper. The best hybrid to buy with your own money is the one that survives average ownership habits, late oil changes, potholes, heat, short trips, inconsistent service, without turning your life into a diagnostic hobby. That's the filter I'm using. And I'm going to be honest, there are other good hybrids in 2026. Honda has great systems, Hyundai and Kia have improved fast, Ford has solid options in some segments, but if you forced me, my money, my driveway, my stress level, and you said I can only pick two hybrids in 2026, I'm picking the two that give me the highest odds of low drama ownership and the least unknown baked in. Before I name them, here's the checklist I'm secretly using, because this is the part you can steal. Number 1, architecture matters more than marketing. I want the hybrid system that's mechanically calm and not filled with wear points pretending to be advanced. Number 2, track record beats first impressions. I want a system that has real high mileage proof, not just a great first-year review. Number 3, service ecosystem matters. I want something that a competent, independent shop can diagnose without being locked behind dealer-only tools and special procedures. Number 4, it has to make sense in real life, not just city MPG life. A lot of people buy hybrids and then do mostly highway at 75 and wonder why the hybrid magic feels smaller. Number 5, resale curve. In 2026, you can overpay for hybrids so badly that you erase the fuel savings. I want the hybrid that holds value for a reason, not because the market is temporarily irrational. All right, with that filter, hybrid number 1 I'd buy with my own money in 2026 is the Toyota Camry Hybrid. And yes, I'm picking the Camry Hybrid on purpose, because it's one of the few hybrids that lives in the sweet spot of the real world. It's not trying to be a tech demo, it's not trying to be sporty, it's not trying to win a personality contest. It's a normal mid-size car that got one of the most proven hybrid drivetrains on Earth. Here's what nobody tells you. The Toyota Camry Hybrid is Toyota's hybrid system in one of its least stressful environments. Think about how people actually use a Camry. Commuting, highway cruising, some city, some traffic, road trips, normal family duty. That's exactly where Toyota's hybrid calibration tends to be calm and efficient without doing anything weird. Now let's talk about the part that makes it a buy with my own money choice, the transmission. Toyota's eCVT is not the CVT most mechanics hate. Most CVT horror stories are belt and pulley designs, belts under tension, friction interfaces, heat sensitivity, fluid sensitivity. Toyota's hybrid eCVT is a power split transaxle built around a planetary gear set and motor generators. No belt, no pulleys. It's gears meshing in oil and electric machines controlling torque flow. Mechanically, that is a completely different universe, and this is why you see the real evidence. Camry hybrids and Priuses doing absurd mileage without transmission rebuild being the normal storyline. So when I'm buying long-term, I'm not just buying Toyota reputation. I'm buying a transmission design that avoids a lot of the wear points that take out conventional automatics and belt CVTs. Now, does that mean nothing can go wrong? No. Here's the honest trust moment. What can still cost you money long-term on a Camry hybrid? Coolant system neglect. Hybrids still rely on proper cooling, engine cooling, and on many hybrids, there's also an inverter or electronics cooling loop. If someone ignored coolant service or drove it low, that's how reliable cars get expensive. The 12-volt battery. Hybrids still have a normal 12-volt battery, and when it gets weak, you can get weird warnings and glitchy behavior that make people panic and assume the main hybrid battery is failing. Sometimes it's just the 12-volt being tired. Suspension and tires, not hybrid specific, but at high miles, it's real money. A Camry is heavy enough that cheap tires and ignored alignments show up fast in noise and uneven wear.
And yes, eventually, the hybrid battery is a wear item over time and heat. The good news is Toyota battery management has a long history of aging gracefully in many cases. But if you're buying older, age matters as much as miles. So when I'm looking at a used Camry Hybrid in 2026, I'm not just asking how many miles.
I'm asking, was it maintained like the owner planned to keep it, or was it maintained like the owner planned to trade it the day before it got expensive? Here's the exact stuff I check if I'm buying one with my own money. I want a true cold start. I don't want the seller warming it up to be nice. Cold start is where you catch roughness, misfires, and early cooling problems. I want a real drive, not a block. City streets, some stop and go, then highway. I'm watching for smooth transitions, and I'm listening for anything that sounds mechanically unhappy. If possible, I want a proper scan, not just no check engine light. Modern hybrids can store codes in hybrid control and other modules even when the dash looks clean. And I want maintenance history, oil changes, coolant service, brake fluid at least occasionally. And I'm going to say something unpopular. Transaxle fluid service is cheap insurance. Even though Toyota's hybrid transaxle is robust, fluid still ages. That's hybrid number 1. Hybrid number 2 I'd buy with my own money in 2026 is the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. And yes, I'm picking the RAV4 Hybrid because it's basically the one car that has to do everything hybrid that still has a proven drivetrain story. This matters because most people don't own 3 cars. They own one car that has to handle commuting, kids, groceries, bad weather, road trips, carrying random big stuff you didn't plan for, and still be efficient enough that fuel doesn't feel like a punishment. The RAV4 Hybrid fits real life better than most vehicles, and it does it with a hybrid system that's been refined for a long time. Same core advantage as the Camry, Toyota's power split hybrid architecture and the hybrid eCVT transaxle design that's mechanically calm. And in many markets, the RAV4 Hybrid holds value like crazy for one simple reason. Demand is huge, and the ownership story is strong. Now here's the trust moment, because I'm not going to pretend the RAV4 Hybrid is perfect. The RAV4 Hybrid has some specific things you need to think about in 2026 that you might not have to think about with the Camry. First, it's an SUV. It's heavier, and it has more SUV-life wear. Tires, suspension, and alignment can cost more than a sedan just because of weight and usage. Second, it's often all-wheel drive through an electrified rear motor setup on many configurations. That's a great system, but it also means you're buying more components than a basic front-wheel drive sedan. More components isn't bad, it just means you maintain it like a grown-up. Third, and this one is real-world important, if you live in a heavy road salt climate, there have been documented concerns on certain RAV4 hybrid model years involving high-voltage cable corrosion in salt belt conditions. Not every year, not every car, and design updates and coverage policies have varied by market. But if I'm spending my own money on a used RAV4 Hybrid and I live where roads are salted, I'm not ignoring that. I'm checking the VIN for any applicable service campaigns or coverage extensions in my region, and I'm inspecting the underbody and related areas with someone who actually knows what they're looking at. That's not paranoia, that's smart buying. Because here's the theme of this whole video. The best hybrids aren't fear-proof, they're just predictable if you respect the known risk points. Now, why didn't I pick a plug-in hybrid as one of my 2? Because plug-ins can be brilliant, but they're habit-dependent. A PHEV only becomes the best deal if you actually plug it in consistently. If you don't, you paid extra for weight and complexity you're not using. Toyota's regular hybrid systems deliver their benefit automatically. That's the whole point. They don't require discipline. And when I'm talking about with my own money, I'm not betting thousands of dollars on me being perfect every night for the next 5 years. I'm betting on a system that works even when I'm busy. Now, you might be thinking, so you're just saying Toyota twice. Yes, on purpose. Because if we're talking about what survives long-term, 150,000 to 250,000 miles, Toyota's mainstream hybrid track record is still the benchmark for 2 reasons that matter more than fanboy arguments. 1, the mechanical design avoids a lot of transmission wear drama. 2, the global ecosystem is mature. Parts availability, knowledge, independent shop familiarity. These matter massively once the car is out of warranty. That said, here's the nuance that keeps this honest. Buying a hybrid in 2026 can still be a bad financial decision if you overpay. Hybrids often have a premium, sometimes a big one. So here's the simple math check I do before paying a hybrid premium. What's the price difference between the hybrid and the comparable non-hybrid? How many miles do I actually drive per year, and how much fuel will I actually save in my driving? City versus highway, my speeds, my climate. Because if you drive 8,000 miles a year and you paid a huge premium, you may never earn it back in fuel. You might still enjoy the car, but don't pretend it's a pure money win. And here's another truth. If your driving is mostly highway at 80, the hybrid advantage shrinks. Not disappears, but shrinks. That's why I like Camry Hybrid and RAV4 hybrids specifically, because they tend to be strong mixed driving hybrids, not just city heroes. Now, let's make this practical with a quick, if you're actually shopping, checklist, because this is where people either win or get burned. If you're buying either of these hybrids used in 2026, I would do this. Insist on a real cold start. If the seller can't do that or they warmed it up, treat that as information. Drive it long enough to see normal hybrid behavior. Stop and go, then highway, then one hill. Listen, feel, watch for anything inconsistent. Check maintenance history. Receipts beat stories. I'm looking for oil changes and coolant discipline. If you can scan it properly, scan it. Not just engine codes, hybrid and brake modules matter too. On the RAV4 hybrid in salt regions, verify VIN-specific service history and inspect for corrosion-related risk areas. Don't guess. And finally, don't buy the cheapest listing. Buy the best-maintained listing. A hybrid can be incredibly reliable, but neglect still wins eventually. So here's the bottom line. If I only get 2 hybrids to spend my own money on in 2026, I'm buying a Toyota Camry Hybrid for the best balance of efficiency, highway comfort, and long-term low-drama ownership, and a Toyota RAV4 Hybrid for the best one-car-that-does-everything hybrid with a proven drivetrain story, assuming I verify the climate-specific risk points where they apply. Because at the end of the day, the hybrid I want isn't the one that impresses me on day one, it's the one that disappears into the background for the next 10 years. If you tell me your budget, your yearly miles, and whether you're mostly city or mostly highway, and which 2 listings you're considering, I'll tell you which one fits the boring for 200,000 miles goal and what to check before you hand over the money.